Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today's amazing guest is Nagina Abdullah, who I've been following for a couple years because she introduced me to the concept of fat-burning spices. Now, Nagina is a health coach who helps women lose 20 to 40 pounds while working 60 hours a week. She helps busy professionals. She has a degree in molecular and cellular biology from UC Berkeley and has helped over 700 professional women successfully lose weight and create a lifestyle change. So let's go and say hello to Nagina. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhite, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Guess what, everyone? My book is out. It is a revised and updated edition of a book I wrote 5 years ago called No Frickin' Way, 21 Days to Ditch the Diet and Lose Weight the Keto Way by Loving Yourself to Health. When I first wrote the original book, I was not a believer in the low-carb movement, but after all the years of research I've done, I am sold out for life. In this book, you will learn about all the lies you have been fed, how to engage in loving self-care, how to eat nourishing foods that provide massive energy, why the ketogenic diet is not a fad, how to heal your body through fasting, why you should move your body to get stronger, and how to create an empowering mindset. Start reading now and finally achieve the high energy and positive body image you deserve. Check it out on Kindle, on Amazon. And if you like it, please leave us a review because this will help more people find it. I really want to inspire people to not deprive themselves, but to nourish themselves with loving self-care and amazingly healthy food so that they can age stronger. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Hey, Nagina, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Hi, Tracy. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Well, I have been following you for a couple years now, and it's just an honor that you're now actually on my show, so I can't wait to chat.
Yes, we have so much to talk about. Thank you so much.
So for the listeners that don't yet know you, why don't you just give us a little bit of background on yourself?
Okay, absolutely. Well, I am a health coach for women over 50, for professional women, and for women that are physicians and executives. Now, the way that I personally got started is that I had been struggling my whole life to lose weight and to get just to feel good in my body and feel comfortable in my body. And I always struggled. I had tried every single thing out there, and from Weight Watchers to Atkins to Nutrisystem to eating less and exercising more. And I just felt like it was not meant to be that I would ever lose weight. And then I actually started to work in this very demanding job, and I had 2 children, and I was at the heaviest weight of my life. And when I was at that moment, I thought that I would feel low energy forever because I felt like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to leave the house. I just wanted to sit on my couch, but my back hurt and I had a lot of pain. And so what happened is that I decided that I needed to try something differently than everything from before because nothing had ever worked in the past. And so I started using my scientific background because I have a degree in molecular and cell biology, and I started reading the scientific journals that I was subscribing to, and I started learning that there was foods that could boost our metabolism and that could melt our fat faster. And so I started eating these foods. I started adding these ingredients to my meals, and it felt like magic. Tracy, within 9 months, I lost 40 pounds. And I got into the best shape of my life ever after having children. And now it's been over 10 years and I have kept that weight off. And now I continue to build my muscle and my tone. And so now women that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s work with me regularly, and they feel like they're stuck. They feel like they are not able to get their metabolism up. They're not able to lose the weight that they were once able to. And And so I give them the same exact solutions that I found for myself. And now I've coached over almost 1,000 women to lose between 20 to 40 pounds and more when they feel stuck and they feel like nothing else is working.
Oh, cool. So what are those foods? Let's hear the magic.
Yes. Yes. What are the magic foods? Exactly. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So, what I found out is like, all those weight loss programs that are out there, they're basically telling us to eat less and smaller portions of processed, unhealthy foods. And that causes us to be hungry. That causes us to actually crave more unhealthy foods. And it doesn't actually stop the cycle and break the cycle of an unhealthy lifestyle. It just keeps it going. And you're going based on restriction, which is not a long-term solution. So when you start adding foods that I'm going to share with you, it actually increases your metabolism. It tastes so good, and you want to keep doing it. So you actually create a new lifestyle shift. And that's the real key, is no longer being on a diet, but having a lifestyle shift.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, I'm going to tell you some regular foods, and I'm going to tell you some of the kind of like really, really simple foods to add. So one of the things I focus on is called protein more. And so what that means is like, we really want to add more protein to what we're eating. And most women are under eating protein. Sometimes there's, articles that sound scary that say you can't have too much protein, but those are actually untrue. It takes quite a lot of really, really diligent effort to ever get to too much protein. It's very rare. And so really focusing on having between 20 and 30 grams of protein at each meal. That is a critical way to boost metabolism. And so what that means, for example, for breakfast is having eggs at breakfast. But if you're having 2 eggs, put a little bit of egg whites in there. Put even like a fourth a cup additional of egg whites. The other thing that you can do is have Greek yogurt in the morning and add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds to that, because it has a nice flavor and it keeps you full for longer. And then have some berries on the side or mixed in, and always sprinkle some cinnamon on that. And I'll tell you why in a moment. And the other thing is to have a metabolism boosting morning smoothie. Now, I have a really, really delicious recipe for a metabolism boosting morning mint and strawberry smoothie. And I'll share towards the end how we can share that with people that are watching. What you want to do is add a vegan protein powder or a whey protein powder to your morning metabolism boosting smoothie, and add at least 1 cup of greens to it as well. Because when you're having greens, you don't taste it as much, especially in a smoothie, but you're staying full. You're staying full, and you're keeping your metabolism going through vegetables and through really natural proteins, and just feeling really full and satisfied. So really adding protein, and what I call that is protein more. This is a very, very key strategy. So protein more. So that's one. So that's one of the things I really started focusing on, because in breakfast, I was eating things that I thought were healthy, like oatmeal and bagels with fruit on the side, or fruit and yogurt, but it wasn't Greek yogurt, and orange juice. And I thought all of those things were healthy, but they were actually full of sugar. And when you're having sugar, it really takes your metabolism down, and it's hidden in foods that we are taught that are healthy. And that's the thing that we need to overcome, is like, where is sugar hiding? Because it's hiding in a lot of foods that are considered healthy. So once you take that out and replace it with protein, you really boost your metabolism. So another thing that I want to share is around tasty vegetables. And I'm going to talk to you about some metabolism boosting ways of doing this. And so when you have tasty vegetables, what you do is, everybody knows that we're supposed to eat vegetables, but it tastes so boring usually. And usually the problem is that we don't know how to make them tasty. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about my metabolism boosting spices to add to your vegetables that will actually like ramp up your metabolism, and you're going to be craving vegetables within moments. Okay. Now, one of the key ways that you can add, that you can boost up your metabolism of your vegetables is, first of all, when you roast your vegetables, you get a baking tray, spray it with cooking spray, and then you put whatever vegetables you want. It could be broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, bell peppers that are chopped up. You could put one of those or all of them. And then you want to do something like where you sprinkle some spices on it. So what tastes really good on vegetables is having a little bit of salt, some black pepper, and a spice like cumin, and then cayenne pepper. Now, I'm going to tell you some of the benefits of all these spices. They are mind blowing. Okay. So now, even something simple as black pepper actually burns as many calories as a 20-minute walk when you're having black pepper. So if you're having black pepper and it's on your kitchen table, definitely use that and sprinkle that on, because it gets your metabolism going. It helps you burn more calories. And if you feel like it's getting cold outside and you don't want to go for a walk, definitely have that black pepper even more, okay? Because it's going to give you what you need. And you can feel it because of that spice and that flavor. It's boosting your metabolism. Now, the other spice that I mentioned, cumin. Cumin has been featured in multiple very, very tested, proven studies by universities like Harvard and Tufts. And it has shown over and over that it helps to decrease belly fat. And there's been multiple studies done that show that women that will have a teaspoon of cumin in their day will burn, for 3 months, will burn 30% more fat than women who don't. And all you have to do is have a teaspoon, like on anything. You could put a little bit of teaspoon in your yogurt. You could put a little teaspoon in your chili, in your beans, in your meat, but you definitely want to sprinkle some on your vegetables, because it's a really easy way to get it. And then, I mean, how amazing it is to eat vegetables and to also be able to burn your belly fat. It's like, let's definitely get those vegetables in even more, you know? And then cayenne pepper is another spice that's incredible. If you are somebody that doesn't usually eat cayenne pepper, when you eat it for the first time, you'll see that it has weight loss benefits. Now, what cayenne pepper does is it boosts your metabolism. And you'll be able to tell that right away, because you will be able to, you'll feel yourself sweating slightly. So it's boosting your metabolism. It's getting things going. But the other amazing benefit of cayenne pepper is that it curbs your appetite. So you're not even that hungry. And this is why spices are so powerful, because they actually bind to receptors in your brain that tell you that you're satiated. And so you don't eat as much. And so that's why if you have sugar cravings, and if you are really struggling with eating sugar, a lot of it is because you're feeling hungry, because your brain needs to feel satiated. When you actually replace it with some of these spices, you also get that satiation. So, Tracy, this is some of my key mantras: protein more and tasty vegetables. And I just want to pause for a moment, but I want to, after this, share one of the easiest ways and the sweetest ways that you can use spice. A sweet spice in your day. So it'll feel like you're almost getting some sugar, but you're actually losing weight instead.
Mm-hmm. Cool. You said a lot of things that I kind of want to unpack. So I love the idea of teaspoon of cumin, because I just freaking love cumin. So good. And I make a homemade taco seasoning with cumin and cayenne and garlic and all this stuff. So that's delicious. How much cayenne would you say to have a day? Or is there a prescribed amount that you recommend?
Okay, so that's a great question, because cayenne is very spicy. And if you are somebody that doesn't really want that much spice, I'm going to also tell you some other alternatives. So for cayenne, you really just need a pinch. Okay. You really need a pinch of it. That's it. And if even that is too much, you could use paprika instead, because paprika is sweeter and it has the same compound that cayenne pepper does, which is called capsaicin. Capsaicin is a compound that's in all spicy spices and jalapenos as well. And that's the compound that gives the benefits of boosting metabolism and curbing appetite. So it's a lot better to start slower, because if you go to cayenne pepper and it's too spicy, you're going to definitely never want to go near cayenne pepper again. So it's going to you're going to start sweating, your mouth is going to start burning, you're going to feel like you're on fire. So
that is so funny that you said that. I have a funny story for you. So when my kids were younger, they had a friend over for dinner, and I always used to make butter chicken. Well, the Indian. I love Indian food, and butter chicken and chicken tikka. I mean, of course, I'm not making authentically, but I'm doing my best. Well, one day the little shaker thing of cayenne came off when I was going like this to put it in the dish or the pot. And I'm like, oh shit. And so I just took a spoon and I just started trying to lift some out. And then I was like, oh wow. And I just stirred it up, right? And didn't say anything. And so we're sitting at the dinner table and they're like sweating and they're like drinking all this water. They're like, Mom, this is so hot. And I finally had to admit what I did. And they're like, and you didn't tell us? I thought, I was hoping it would just mix in. And
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Oh my gosh, you did that to them. Wow, they definitely got there. They definitely know what cayenne pepper tastes like now. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, that's the thing. Like there's also people that really like to eat spicy food, and so this could be a relief that like this can actually help you. And if you're somebody that does like to eat spicy food, you want to add a little bit more. If things are too spicy, you can go to paprika, and you can also try those crushed red pepper flakes that are common to use on pizza, because those have the same compound as well, and those are really easy to use. You don't even have to cook them; you can just put them on top. So, like you can just sprinkle them on top.
so it's my understanding that the cayenne and the paprika are better because the seeds themselves hold a compound called lectins. Are you familiar with that term?
That I'm not familiar with it in how it's relevant to cayenne pepper and paprika, but I do know, I have heard about lectins.
Well, lectins are actually like these little molecules in vegetables that ward off pests, okay? Mm-hmm. So they're really inflammatory and contributory to like leaky gut. And so like jalapeno peppers aren't great, like anything with that seed. However, in a spice like cayenne, the way they process it, they eliminate the skin and the seeds from the actual spice. So it's been processed correctly, and so they're not going to contribute to that inflammation. There's a great book called Plant Paradox by Dr. Stephen Gundry that one of my clients actually referred me to, and it's pretty interesting. So I don't eat those flakes anymore, but I love cayenne and cumin. So I wonder how cayenne would taste like in a smoothie. Oh, that's the other question I wanted to ask you. Do you have a particular brand of protein powder that you like better?
Yes, I definitely, I've actually done a lot of research on protein powders because I really look for high quality ingredients that absorb into your body very well. And then also it has a higher protein ratio to carbs and sugar. And so the one that I found that's amazing is it's called Optimum Nutrition Vegan Protein Powder. And you can find it on Amazon. And so that's a really good one. And I found that it causes it doesn't cause any bloating. Like there's other protein powders that like whey protein powders, which are good for your body, but they can cause more bloating, especially in women. So, so having a vegan protein powder is really key. It's really good. It's really nice, but other ones work as well.
What's the protein source from that one?
So it's pea protein in that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I've been using for about 4 years now something called Equip protein. Have you heard of that?
No.
3 ingredients. It's a grass-fed beef protein, stevia, and cocoa powder. And that's it.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
And it tastes good. It doesn't taste like meat. It just tastes good. So anyway.
Yes.
So you already covered like your typical recommendation for breakfast. What do you eat yourself for like lunch and dinner?
Okay, so so what I typically eat, usually I used to be eating more fish and more things like that. I have recently stopped eating any meat, and I've recently gone like fully vegetarian. I can tell you I was eating more fish, and I ate the same meal for 7 years. Because I loved it so much. And because it also empowered me to not have to think about what I was eating, which is a key part of losing weight, which is like, you're not complicating it and you're not having multiple options. And then you struggle with what to choose. And at some point you become disorganized because you don't have anything. So you end up eating something unhealthy because it's easier. So like when you have go-to meals that you like and that keep you full, you don't have to think about it. You know how much energy it gives you. You know how much it fuels you. You know that it keeps you full for a certain amount of hours. And then once you're done with feeling full, you have a snack at the ready to take. Now, when you eat different foods, you have different reactions to those foods. You may not be as full for long. You may be snacking more. And so if you are actually somebody that just wants to kind of minimize the impact like that of how much time food is taking, you can start to systemize certain things. And like I recommend, having 2 to 3 breakfasts that you go in between. If you have, having only one lunch is definitely like very, very extreme, but having like 2 to 3 go-to lunches. And then if you have, if you have some other like other items that come into play, that's fine. But it simplifies the day, and then you can change it up at dinner and have different meals. So I have a what I call a fat burning food framework, and this fat burning food framework, it teaches you how to combine your foods so that you get metabolism boosting every single meal and you feel full and satisfied. And so I'll tell you for lunch, I'll tell you what I was eating before, and I'll tell you what I'm eating now. And so for lunch, the metabolism boosting food framework is that you eat your plate, you fill it with 40% protein. So you're using that protein more principle. You also fill it with 40% vegetables, and you're making it tasty with those spices and with roasting it, or you could also put it in a skillet or anything like that. And then you do that. And then you can also, so then you do the protein, the vegetables, and then you do 20% healthy carbs. And so what 20% healthy carbs are beans, lentils, Ezekiel bread, or, small portions of like sweet potatoes or quinoa. Those are other options. And this will like this plus any of the breakfasts I shared, literally, this is going to boost the metabolism. If you're in your 50s, 60s, even 70s and 80s, it works 100%, whether you're in menopause, post-menopause, or anything around it. And so like an example is so what I used to do is I used to roast a big salmon, like 2 pounds of salmon. I would roast it on Monday in the oven with asparagus on the side. And every day I would have the asparagus, I would have the salmon, the asparagus. So that's the protein more, the veggies. And then I would also have a side of what I would eat usually would be like black beans or kidney beans that I had added some more spices to. And I would always have it with spicy mustard because it tasted so good. So I would roast that on Monday, and then I would put it into the fridge, and and I would also make the kidney beans or the black beans in a crock pot on Sunday. And so every day I would I would be taking a break from work. I would just pull out the salmon and the asparagus, take out the kidney beans or the black beans and warm it up, have the spicy mustard. And it was so satisfying. It was so tasty. I knew exactly what I was eating, and I was feeling full and satisfied all afternoon. And I have kept my weight. I lost 40 pounds, and it's been 10 years, and it's stayed off for this entire 10 years. And I've only gotten more toned and more fit. And a lot of it is because of the fat burning food framework and also simplifying things. Yeah.
So how many grams of protein are you recommending a day, approximately?
So, okay. So one of the things is like, I did talk about about 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. One of the key things is that I really recommend, like, first of all, not counting as much, because when we count, we always constantly feel like we're on a diet. And then we start to feel like we have to follow certain rules. And if we don't follow the rules, then we're off the wagon. Yeah. And when we're off the wagon, we end up saying, well, forget it. I already messed up. I might as well go eat that like bag of chips and those cookies and just order pizza tonight. And it's just a cycle that continues. So it's more about like looking at your plate and having 40 to 50% of your plate be protein. But if you want a guideline, because women do use, they do enjoy guidelines. If that's something you can use in a healthy way, having anywhere between 50%, like 0.5 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is ideal, and really working to get up to that per pound of body weight. And so what we're talking about is if you're 150 pounds, either having anywhere starting with 75 grams of protein a day, which if you're targeting doing like 30 at every meal or even 25 at every meal, you're going to hit that, and there's other like proteins. It's going to be very, very simple. You do have to prioritize having like 25 to 30 grams of protein, but it's very, very doable to do that with the recommendations that I've already shared. And then as time goes on, really increasing it, by, maybe having like a snack of Greek yogurt, which is an extra 20 grams of protein, having an extra protein shake, which is an extra 30 grams of protein. And then you really get that up, you really will get that up. And this is the number one thing that is speeding women's metabolism. And it's also the number one reason that women are staying stuck, is because we're not eating enough protein. We're thinking that we need to do cardio exercise and eat less. And in fact, we actually need to eat more, and we need to strength train. And those are the ways that we become healthy and strong in your 40s, 50s, and 60s and beyond, is by doing those things. So, so that's a little bit more about the protein. Yes.
So so first I have a lot of questions. Okay, so you ate salmon every day for 7 years. Were you not concerned with mercury toxicity?
So good question. Salmon is actually one of the fish, along with cod, along with many other fish that don't have the mercury. There's nothing wrong. There's no concerns about mercury. That is for certain other fishes, especially bigger fishes that eat smaller fishes. So, for example, tuna and swordfish, those are fish that you'd want to eat only really once to possibly twice a week. But salmon, cod, halibut, those are all smaller fishes, and there's no mercury issues. And I have had my levels checked, and I've never had any issues with it.
Oh, good. I love salmon, but I don't eat it like more than maybe once or twice a week. And then my other question is, now that you're a vegetarian,
yes.
what are you doing for your protein?
Yeah. So now for my protein, so now, and I actually work with many vegetarians, and we have like specialized recommendations, because mostly every other weight loss plan, what they do is they talk about eating tofu, and they talk about eating beans and lentils. Okay. So I want to dispel some myths. First of all, those are both excellent sources of protein, but tofu is processed. And there's only so much you should be eating of that. You can actually feel it in your body. When I eat tofu, I can feel the difference in my body. I can tell that my body is digesting it differently than if I were to give myself plants or beans or lentils or other types of natural foods. So I recommend having tofu no more than 2 to 3 times a week, but it can be a form of extra protein, but it doesn't have to be either. Now, beans and lentils are an excellent source. So I do prioritize having beans and lentils. They are very filling. Now, the thing with eating beans and lentils is the same issue usually as with vegetables, is that most people are not sure how to make it tasty and flavorful. Well, when you use the spices that I've talked about, plus like turmeric, which is also anti-inflammatory, and you're using things like coriander, which is a really fresh, tangy spice, and it also lowers water retention, so it decreases your belly bloat. When you're using that in there and you eat your beans or lentils, you will be feeling like you're in a gourmet restaurant, and you will know, and you will watch your stomach get debloated. Like it will be happening. And also, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just writing down coriander. Isn't that, okay, so with the turmeric, I love golden milk. I make my smoothies. I make my own homemade golden milk. And with cloves, cardamom, ginger, all the spices, the turmeric. And that's what I make my smoothie base with. But coriander, is that cilantro?
Coriander, yes, that is. Coriander is the seeds, of cilantro. So like, that's exactly what it is. It's the blended seeds of it. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Does it taste similar? Because I love cilantro.
Oh my gosh. So that's really good. It doesn't taste the same. Like fresh cilantro has like a beautiful fresh taste, and coriander has a tangy fresh taste, but it does taste different. But you definitely got to try it. If you love cilantro, you definitely got to try it and use it. You can just sprinkle it on top of your asparagus as well, because asparagus is also a food that lowers water retention and decreases bloating. And so when you have the two together, along with, you could put a little salt and pepper as well. It is like a magical food, and it's a magical side to have asparagus with coriander. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to try that one too. I love going to the farmer's market, and I go every Saturday just to collect like one of these and one of these and get a big variety of vegetables. So I'll have to try that. Now, do you make your own like spice mix that you sell or something? That would be cool.
Oh, thanks so much. I know I don't right now, but I know that I would make an amazing spice mix that is low in sodium and low in salt, because that's a lot of the issues that are in the spices out there, is that they're higher in sodium, they're higher in salt. Like a lot of things that seem like they taste good, when you have too much sodium, especially in your spices, it causes bloating. So it's like, you definitely want to like look at the ingredients and make sure that it doesn't have salt in there. But thank you. I would love to. I already, have ideas on the blends that would be amazing and fat burning And that's really key. So yes.
Yeah. Like if you did like a Thai one and an Indian one and a Mexican one and like all the different countries of food that we like to make, and you just had like a little spice mix of each, that'd be a cool thing.
Thank you. Thanks for telling me that. Once I start doing that, I'm definitely going to reach out to you first and tell you.
Yeah, because
yes,
that's what a lot of my clients, like I'll give them, they get their weekly recipes and their meal plans and, you know, their grocery list and everything. And sometimes they get overwhelmed with the amount of spice that I have them put in their food. But because they have to buy all this stuff, right? I'm like, well, once you have it, it's fine. You just will use it and it will last you a really long time. But they hate like, oh, I have to do a quarter teaspoon of this and an eighth a teaspoon of that. And, you know, all of the blending.
Exactly. The blending is so, well, you know, just because we're on this topic, I definitely hope to have my, you know, my own spice mix soon, but there are some spice mixes that I recommend that are really, really great and low sodium that I have studied in depth to make sure that they're the right ones that I share with my clients. And so one of the best ones, there's a few of the best ones, but like one that's really great and easy is called Everything But the Bagel Spice by Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried that before?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we have it.
Oh yes. Okay, so that one is low in sodium. So that's super key. Usually spice blends, the problem with them is that they're low in sodium. And so when I say low in sodium, you could look at it and if it's 60 milligrams or less per teaspoon or per serving, that is okay. But many spices are like 120 milligrams. And really that's like, you're going to put more than a teaspoon or a half teaspoon on. Sometimes even the serving size is a half teaspoon. So Everything But the Bagel from Trader Joe's is excellent. If you don't have a Trader Joe's next to you, you can also find it on Amazon. And there's also a really great chili lime spice. Now Trader Joe's has a chili lime spice, but theirs is high sodium. Theirs is like 120 milligrams per half teaspoon. And so the one that's really good is if you just search on Amazon for chili lime, the brand is the hot stuff. And that one is like 10 milligrams of sodium. It's chili lime. These are all really quick and easy ways that you can spice up your vegetables. The chili lime is like slightly spicy, but Everything But the Bagel is not spicy at all. And so it's just adding some flavor and you're getting benefits from adding these natural spices.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I love adding fresh garlic and olive oil to everything. Like that punches it up, you know, right away.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
Do you ever cook with that?
That sounds amazing. Oh yeah, with garlic, with olive oil, and then also I'll also like combine like cooking spray into the olive oil as well, because then I'll get my fats, like the fats from olive oil. I'll get it from things that are like avocados or nuts or things like that keep me full as well. So I'll blend it like that. One thing I wanted to just like circle back to is like the beans and lentils for vegetarians. What I wanted to share is that, you know, so I will eat beans and beans and lentils, but there's like a lot of times if you're vegetarian, everyone's telling you to eat beans and lentils. And yes, they have protein, but they also do have a lot of carbs. And so if you are increasing your portions of beans and lentils and feeling like you're getting more protein, you are, but you're also getting a lot of more carbs. And so what you want to do is keep your beans and lentils to about a half cup serving. And then you can add on top 1 serving of hemp seeds. Now, hemp seeds are a natural vegan protein and they have 10 grams of protein per serving. And so when you add in hemp seeds, you're getting a boost of only protein without a carb boost as well. And so this is the key. When my clients start doing this, the ones that are vegetarian, they have been stuck and they start really moving down because it's like it's really using that fat burning food, the food framework that you're getting, you know, healthy carbs, you're getting protein and veggies, but you're not like getting too many of the healthy carbs. You're getting enough, but you also have to eat the right amount. And so that's really key. So that's some of the things that I'll do.
So hemp seeds don't have any carbs in them?
Hemp seeds don't have any carbs in them. Nope. They have healthy fats in them. They don't have any carbs.
Okay. Yeah, those are good. I like the texture of them. I'm a big texture person. So that's
awesome.
That is a good idea. So, okay. So when I work with the vegetarians or vegans, I recommend tempeh over tofu because it's fermented. And also, what do you think about like GMO tofu in our country and all of that? How do you get around that?
Yeah, so for tofu, I mean, I definitely don't recommend GMO tofu.
Oh, of
And
course.
so yes, yes. I mean, in general, I just really like tofu's one thing out of many to use if you're a vegetarian. It should really be part of what you're eating. It shouldn't be your main source of what you're eating. So that's really where it's like, I recommend like having a nice brand of tofu, having it a couple times a week, using some flavors and spices to make it taste good, doing like a tofu stir fry. But that's it.
So
So,
I guess my question more was, what tofu do you recommend that does not have GMOs? Like how do you distinguish a better tofu?
oh, okay. So I mean, for that, I don't even work that closely with tofu. So I don't even have really an
Oh.
answer for that. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't even go for tofu. Like, I don't, it's one of the things, but we have so many other things that we go like much deeper on.
But what are you eating personally for your protein? Cuz like we have
Oh,
chicken, so I eat a lot of eggs,
oh, yeah.
Like what protein sources do you like?
Yes. So, I mean, so now that I've like newly become only vegetarian, it is, so now it's like I do the hemp seeds. I also use nutritional yeast, which also
Mm.
gives you 8 extra grams of protein just by like, it's kind of like a Parmesan style cheese. So I will do a serving of that on top of like anything I'm eating, whether it's my beans and lentils or even my vegetables, because it tastes really good. It's like Parmesan cheese. So I use a
Yeah.
boost of that. Yeah, so that's really good. And then I also do flax seeds or chia seeds. Those also give you boost of protein. And then finally, like really having a chickpea flour or any kind of bean flour. There's so many lentil flours that are coming out. I will make chickpea flour pancakes and add hemp seeds and flax seeds into it so that it has a boost of extra protein, and then even add some nutritional yeast on top. So it's like a pancake. It's made with chickpea flour. I put all these veggies in it. I have hot sauce on the side, so it tastes great, boosts my metabolism more. And then if I want to, I can add different spices to it, but definitely having some salt and pepper as a minimum. And then doing the hemp seeds, the either chia or flax with it, and then sprinkling some nutritional yeast. That's like a really great lunch. It's really amazing, and it's very high
Oh.
protein for a vegetarian, especially.
Oh, sounds good too. So
Thank
it's like a
you.
savory pancake.
Exactly, exactly. It's a savory pancake. Yep.
And do you eat eggs a lot? I mean,
So I used to eat eggs every single morning. I used to eat 2 eggs and a half cup of egg whites. And then I would also have a breakfast salad on the side. And that's really what I recommend for all of my clients that eat eggs is to boost your protein with those eggs. If you don't have time to make an omelet, you could do hard boiled eggs. You could also do like egg muffins where you like whip up 12 a dozen eggs with veggies, and then you spray cooking spray into a muffin pan, and and then you just put like you just pour it all in there, and then as a result you have like breakfast. You have 12 muffins, and you can eat 2 a day. So usually like, and having it with a side of berries or with a side of, or a breakfast salad, which is something that I really love to do, which I'll get like a mixed vegetable, like mixed salad bag. And I will do, and it'll be like, it could be just like romaine lettuce. It could be cabbage. It could be Brussels sprouts that are shredded. And then I'll add on, a little bit of walnuts, some feta cheese, and then I'll sprinkle it with, or I'll just kind of like add on a little touch of balsamic vinegar because it's low sugar. And then that will be my breakfast salad, my greens that are keeping me full. Or sometimes I might do berries on the side.
okay. I don't know if I could eat a salad for breakfast.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love salad. I have a great recipe for you. So I take 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, a quarter cup of balsamic, the Modena one from Trader Joe's, and about 3 cloves of garlic, a tablespoon of Dijon, and you put it in the blender and it gets all emulsified and thick. And it is the best salad dressing. And it's got that little bit of bite, from the garlic and the Dijon. Super
Oh my
good.
God, that sounds delicious. Wow, that sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. And I don't want to forget to share my sweet spice
Oh,
tip and strategy as well. And this is like a really quick and easy way to get started with spices. And it especially helps you get off of your cravings for sugar. And this is where in the morning, if you're having coffee or tea, or in the afternoon, instead of using sugar, you could use either less sugar or no sugar, either one. And then you sprinkle in cinnamon instead of the sugar, or you just have less sugar. And what cinnamon does is, because it's sweet, it helps you, it lowers, it actually gives you, it lowers your sugar cravings, but it doesn't cause the insulin spike that sugar does, which, you know, when you're having sugar, what happens is you get an insulin spike, and then it causes you to store more fat. So by using cinnamon, you're actually storing less fat and you're getting your sugar kick. And so it's like a must have for me. I always have cinnamon in my coffee or tea. And if you don't have coffee or tea, you could just sprinkle it on your morning fruit, because what it does is it brings down the sugar content.
Yeah, I love that. So now when you add it, do you sprinkle it into the cup? Or what I've done is, in my French press, I put cinnamon in that. Or when I blend it, because I always blend it with MCT or butter, I'll put cinnamon in that. Which one do you do? How do you do it?
Oh, well, those are all great, though. Those are all great, Tracy. You can do any of those. Those sound amazing. I sprinkle it right directly in my coffee cup, just so I know that in my serving, I'm getting the amount that I want. And there is no exact amount either. It's just like sprinkle it until it's fine. And if you can try to mix it, sometimes it doesn't blend as well. It definitely doesn't blend as well as sugar would, but that's okay. It's just in there. It's fine.
Tastes so good.
Yes, it tastes so good. Yep.
It's so good. It's like a holiday. One time I put it into our like regular coffee thing, and I just put a bunch in with the grinds, and my son's like, "What did you do to this coffee?" So I had to stop, but I thought it was a good idea. So yeah, that is delicious. And then, so we've talked a little bit about all the meals. What about dessert? Do you like dessert?
Oh, I love dessert. I love dessert. I actually have a sweet tooth. That was why I felt like it was so hard and it was impossible for me to lose weight, because I kept trying, but then I would try to eat restriction for multiple days, and then I would just go crazy and eat like a whole chocolate cake. So, I mean, I love dessert. I can tell you one of my favorite things that I love to eat is that we used to live next door to this really incredible bakery, and they had just such delicious chocolate croissants. And so it was part of my routine that every single Saturday, and this is, we just moved a little bit away, but we still will go and get that croissant now. Like every Saturday, we would all get things like treats from the bakery. And so I always looked forward to Saturday morning when I got my chocolate croissant, and it was so delicious. It was kind of like, it was like good and dangerous that I lived next door to a bakery, because it was like I could leave at any time and get it. But I always said once a week on Saturday mornings, I'll have this indulgence. And then I felt really good that I got to treat myself like that. And then I didn't want it anymore. I was done, and I'm like, okay, I don't really need this until next week. So having those pastries, the chocolate pastries are good. And then of course I like anything chocolate. If I'm going to have dessert though, I like to have dessert that's really good quality. So it's like either somebody made it, or it's from a farm, or it is like freshly made from an amazing bakery. And I will indulge in it, absolutely, but I'll only do it if I enjoy every single bite, because if I'm going to eat it, it has to be amazing. I don't want to just eat it just because it's there.
Yeah. My mother-in-law, she comes over once a week for dinner, and she always makes amazing desserts. And my birthday party was last weekend. We went to a friend's, and she made butter cake. Have you ever had that? Oh my gosh.
No, I've had butter pound cake. But butter cake sounds incredible. Was it good? Was it extremely amazing?
Okay, so I'm going to be really honest. I didn't eat any, because I have this sugar love-hate relationship that once I start, I can't stop. So I just don't start. Like literally, I just can't start. So I didn't have any, but butter cake is amazing. So if you have that self-control with sweets, you should try it. It's so amazing.
Wow. Oh my gosh. No, thank you. And but I can see what you're saying, because it's really true. Like if you have some sugar, it actually creates you to crave more sugar. So if you even have a bite, you will want to have more afterwards. And so it's like really good to be aware of that, because sometimes we do feel like I'll just have a bite, or I'll just have an, and some people are able to do that. It's true. But some people just they know themselves like you do. And it's based in science. Like, you are getting those, like, sugar causes more sugar craving because it's a drug. You want more of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It activates the same pleasure centers in your brain that cocaine does. They've done that study on mice that they would choose an Oreo over cocaine. So it's like, and then you get that stimulus response. You're like, ooh, I need another hit, So, yeah, I hear you.
True.
So where can our listeners find you, Nagina?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited. Well, I would love for if you're listening to head over to my website, which is masalabody.com. And when you head over there and enter your name and your email, I will send you my free recipe book, which is 7 spicy recipes to melt away your first 7 pounds. These are really delicious, family-friendly recipes that I personally use at home. And it also includes my metabolism boosting morning mint and berry smoothie, which is the first recipe in there. And this is a must-have go-to for any morning that you need something quick, or you just know that you want something that's going to keep you satisfied and full. And so heading over there will be amazing. And then we'll be connected. I'll send you emails and recipes after that as well. And you can also find me on Instagram at Masala Body. And I'm also on YouTube at Masala Body as well.
So what's Masala stand for?
Oh, what Masala means is it's a blend of spices. And when I lost 40 pounds, I did it while eating all of these spices and feeling like I was eating at a gourmet restaurant, even though my meals were taking me only 15 to 30 minutes or less to make. But it tasted like so delicious. I couldn't believe I was losing such weight from my belly and from all the problem areas that I had had before so quickly. So I decided to call my my business Masala Body, which means a blend of spices gets you a spicy body. So Masala Body. Yes.
I love it. I love it. And we didn't get to talk about crystals. You're going to have to come back on so we can talk about crystals.
Yes, I would love to talk about my beautiful new relationship with crystals and how it's really, really changing my focus and my energy. And I know that you know so much about that. So I would love to come back and talk to you about it.
So real quick, before we wrap, what is the name of the crystal that you were telling me about before we started the show? What's the name of that new one you just got?
Oh, it's citrine. Citrine. I have it right here. It's like it's the crystal for success and growth. And so that's really what I want to focus on every single day. And so I have it and it just guides me. So yes.
I love it. That's gorgeous. So,
thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and you're beautiful. So it was really fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so great to chat with you too. You are beautiful. You are amazing. And you are so I love your high energy. It's been so easy to talk to. I literally feel like we could be in a coffee shop. So this is also like the second best. At least we got to have a really nice conversation together.
Yeah, I feel that same way. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I felt like I was talking to somebody who I already knew. So check out our website at masalabody.com. And for complete show notes, head on over to the blog at highenergygirl.com/show. All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening. Please make it a great day. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.